You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
File access granted.
Hello, all you believers, idealists, skeptics, and all those who question the universe around them. I'm Bailey.
I'm Ty, and this is Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Happy November, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, it's almost Thanksgiving.
It's turkey
October's
time.
over, and now it's time for Thanksgiving.
It's turkey time.
Almost. It's getting there. Next week, next Thursday, it'll be time to feast.
I know, my stretchy pants are ready. They stay ready, man. They stay ready. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Probably mashed potatoes. Yeah, mashed potatoes or like rolls, like a good roll.
Yeah.
Carbs, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. My mom makes really good mashed potatoes, but the all-time favorite that she makes is actually this brie cheese on a croissant with cranberries on top of it. And it's
nice.
Fucking amazing. It's actually a breakfast food. It doesn't even make it to the Thanksgiving Day table. It's just a breakfast.
Oh, wow.
She's like, here you go. Here's this. And it's my absolute favorite. Nah, that's awesome. Well, everyone kind of knows that Thanksgiving stems from some Native American history. And today we're also going to be talking about some Native American history and lore as well.
Awesome. We've done that a couple times. We did that when we talked about Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we talked about Native Americans other times, but I think Mothman's the only time we've really brought up Native American lore.
Yes. And I feel like
probably some in the I know we talked a little bit in Jersey Devil as well.
Jersey Devil. I feel like we did in Roswell.
Maybe in Roswell and probably some in like the Mount Shasta stuff.
Oh, absolutely. So. Absolutely. But this one's really cool. This one's always really interested me. And it honestly, like, it's Skinwalker, guys. We're so excited. I'm super excited.
You're talking about Skinwalkers, right?
Skinwalkers, yes.
Okay, not Skinwalker Ranch, right?
We are going to talk a little bit about it,
okay.
But yeah, that's primarily what Skinwalkers are known for, is Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
Which we'll talk a little bit about Skinwalker Ranch and what goes on there, just because it is so crazy. And
absolutely.
Yeah,
wild
honestly,
stuff.
We could do an entire episode alone on Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, no doubt.
You guys let us know if you want us to do it. You guys got to let us know.
For sure.
Because we can definitely come back. It's I was looking at, because, realtor brain, I was looking at the property history, and it's only been owned by 4 different entities in its entire existence. And I mean, this goes all the way back to, I think, very early 1900, maybe 1910 at the latest. And only 4 different entities have owned Skinwalker Ranch.
That is crazy.
That's wild.
They've kept it for a long time.
It's wild. It's wild. But Skinwalkers have always really interested me, just because it's not only is it lore, it's actual American lore, which is really, really cool. You don't really see Skinwalkers outside of the U.S. But it also, it reminds me a lot of spirit animals and how people can like in other lores you see shifters and shapeshifters like that. And I'm going to give too much away just in this intro, just because all of it is just so interesting to me. But have you ever heard of Skinwalkers before outside of the ranch?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of them. I never looked too much into them. But I have looked into Skinwalkers a little bit, mainly Skinwalker Ranch. It's pretty synonymous. It's in the name. Talking about Bigfoot comes up sometimes, and Skinwalkers come from the Bigfoot lore. Dogman stuff is always really tied in with Bigfoot. So it does come up quite a bit when I'm looking at my weird cryptid stuff. So it pops in here and there.
Oh yeah.
So I know kind of like a base level of the Skinwalker, not like the deeper lore or anything like that, though.
It's so good. I love it. Ben and I were watching a documentary the other night where this sheriff, I believe it was, so happened to run into both a dogman and a Bigfoot in the same occurrence.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that a lot.
I've never heard such a tale.
Yeah, there's a lot in the what is it? Small Town Monsters, American Werewolves. Have you watched that?
Yes. I think that's what
That
we were
talks about
watching.
that talks about it a lot. How like the moth, I mean not the Mothman, but the Dogman and the Bigfoot were like kind of like working in tandem and stuff. And there's theories that the Dogmen are kind of like the bloodhounds of the Sasquatch and so on and so forth. There's also like theories, go off on a little tangent, I guess, like that same kind of theory applies to chupacabra and Bigfoot. People have like
Oh,
talked about spotting chupacabras being used as bloodhounds for the Bigfoot, which that's, a little out there for me, but
that is really out there. You'd be hard pressed to get me to believe that a chupacabra could be used by anything other than its own form just because it's so big and scary looking to me.
yeah,
But I feel like a Bigfoot might be able to do it.
perhaps.
I feel like
perhaps.
he might. I feel like he might. But yeah, it's crazy. I love it. I think Bigfoot are just hollow earth beings or they're interdimensional. One of the two.
Yep, I could see that.
One of the two.
Yeah, there's stuff about that too, like Bigfoot and UFOs. The connection between those is really interesting to read about. People seeing UFOs in the same areas they saw Bigfoot sightings, stuff like it's really interesting, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. I am seriously ready to.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's go and let's unseal file 030 30 episodes.
030.
So
File
30th
030.
episode we're doing here.
We're so
Insane.
excited.
And that's just 30 like main chronological episodes. We have easily like 40 episodes probably
I
floating
was
around
getting
right
ready to
now.
say it's got to be like 40 or 42. So
It's got to be pretty vast. We have a lot of little extra our encounters. What was our other show we did?
we did
Cross
that interview.
examinations.
Yeah. The interviews.
We haven't done one of those in a while. We should do one
We
of those again.
haven't, but maybe for the holidays.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can get a hold of someone and do some cross examinations.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
That's
30
a
episodes,
lot.
30 main episodes.
That's a lot, especially
Just
for
over a year. We've only been doing this just over a year.
just over a
too.
year. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And what really interests me is like watching the numbers for me and like seeing it because like guys, we can see like when you guys go back and listen to certain areas.
Yeah.
And that is the most fun for me is to go back and be like, what are they listening to? And then if it's me like going off on a tangent, I'm like, why? No, conspiracy brain. But it's a lot of fun. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much. 30 whole episodes. And I think we're ready. I think we're doing
Let's do it.
All right. So Skinwalkers, I'm really excited. And when I was writing this, I kind of didn't know where to start. So I was like, Bailey, quit being a dumbass. Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning. We have to go.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah,
Right at the beginning.
I mean, I typically think so, or it could be like a Star Wars trilogy and we start at the end and then work our way back.
Yeah.
So, those
All over the
stories always
place.
confused me. Like, I get it. It's an amazing story. I'm not down in Star Wars. I'm just saying it's confusing. But anyway, so we started out at the very beginning. So the origin story actually comes from a Navajo legend. So in order to understand what a skinwalker is in its entirety, we have to talk about medicine men and women or healers because there's shaman and shawwoman. I'm just going to say healers or shaman because it's just what I'm going to say.
Mhm.
So these medicine healers were seen as very good people who thrived with helping their community. And they were also very trusted within those Navajo communities because these were people that, the rest of the community came to and, not only for their physical ailments, but also their spiritual ailments as well. Because
Okay.
these medicine men and women, these medicine people, and the shaman, they not only helped heal with, herbs from the earth and trying to, do new salves and, actually make medicine, but they also performed rituals and prayed and gave offerings to different gods to keep, the tribe's health and bring in good crops and, to even like going as far as like praying and doing rituals for gods for fertility as well. Like, I mean, it was a lot. Like, you were trusted with a lot if you became a medicine healer or a shaman or shaman woman. It was a big, big deal. Like, the community basically took care of you. However, the antithesis to that would be witches. Not like the cool hunky-dory witches that we get nowadays. These witches were
Pointed hats, no
pointed hat.
brings.
No, we didn't get none of that. We didn't get none of that. We are not welcome here. So very, very evil, and they're basically the no gooders of the Navajo tribe, where a witch was located. And they were the antithesis or the opposer of the healers. They would perform harmful ceremonies and would manipulate magic in a perversion of what the medicine healers were trying to combat in everyday life. So when becoming a healer, you would learn about both good and evil magic. And you basically got to choose loosely choose is the word I'm going to use there, whether to become a healer who was looked very fondly after by the community. You were very well trusted. A lot of villages and a lot of tribes, it was basically like having a warrior in there. Like, you're going to be taken care of because you're taking care of everybody else.
Okay.
You could choose to be that, or you could choose to become a witch, who were seen as corrupt, evil, and sometimes even outcasts. They would be called curse casters and even shapeshifters. Now, shapeshifters, Bailey, what do you mean by a shapeshifter? How does one become a skinwalker? So, this is a lot simpler than you would think, to be honest with you.
Really?
It really is. So skinwalkers, very importantly, can be men or women, just like healers. And step one, the only step, is to commit a heinous act, like killing and eating a family member, like a direct family member.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and it does give the human power these dark abilities, such as shape-shifting. So this person who has studied, the magic and the arts and whatnot, has decided to become corrupt, quote unquote, and eat and kill and eat one of their family members and becomes a skinwalker.
I don't know. It doesn't sound so easy.
I mean, when you're looking at it on face value, I mean, it's one step.
It's one step.
One step.
Yeah.
I could do one step. I mean, that's a whole lot of moral negotiation you got to do for one step. But I mean, if you can do it, and by consuming this family member, or even just by consuming the human flesh alone, that would give the person who is consuming it these otherworldly abilities. And when they're shape-shifting, they could pretty much become whatever animal they want, but mostly people would see them as coyotes, wolves, foxes, or bears. And very importantly, they would almost look half human. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's like this creature that's almost humanoid, but more animal than human, if that makes sense.
So, more humanoid. I guess I don't think it makes sense.
Like,
I'm confused.
Like, you would see like almost like a coyote, almost like a dog man, really, but it has like more human skin and fur on it.
Oh,
like,
okay,
it would almost wear like it's wearing the skin is the best way I could kind of describe that. Like, imagine like a head with like the skin over top of it, and then like a human body like underneath of it. So, and that actually brings me to an important point, because they could shift into whatever animal they wanted to after that, as long as they were wearing that animal's specific skin. So it very much was, you had to put on this skin in order to become a skinwalker after you've done the initial ritual, which actually, because, I got to throw in the fact that I'm pagan in here. There's actually what's called berserkers in the unveils, or the bear skins and the wolf skins. And they would so they were these great pagan warriors or these great Viking warriors. And they would actually don the bear skin or the wolf skin along with eating or pouring the afterbirth of that animal onto them in order to embody their spirit animal for which they were getting ready to go fight as. Basically, calling the spirit of that animal to them to come in and possess them in order to be able to go and do the things that they needed to do, which was why you would go after different animals like bears or wolves or even coyotes or foxes, because a fox, you're going to be way more stealthy. A wolf, you're going to be, aggressive and stealthy. Bears, you're just going to be big and strong. Coyotes, you're just going to be a little shit. I live in Southern Ohio. I don't know what else a coyote is good for. But and I mean, that really is the main reason why I'm super interested in Skinwalkers, is because it really reminds me of spirit animals. And there's a lot of this all over different lores all around the world where, people believe in wearing the skin of that animal or having the skin of that animal. And then it would embody protection or some kind of energy around it to protect those around them. Protect, guard, fight, whatever you want to use.
Right.
So that's my little tangent. And I mean, again, they would change into the animal that would best fit the needs for the task that they were wanting to perform. So again, like foxes, you're more stealthy. Wolves, you can attack if needed, but you're also a little bit more stealthy. Bears, you're just big and powerful. Big and powerful. So far, we've covered that skinwalkers can do multi-changes. So like they're shapeshifters that can shift into multiple forms at this point.
Okay.
But it's always associated with an animal. They can't shapeshift into another person.
Okay, so they can't just like pretend to be like your brother or something like that. Okay.
And interesting enough, I just thought of this. I did not actually find where anyone had shapeshifted into a reptile. I'm just saying. It's all animals. Maybe it's because maybe it's because that's a breed of their own, I guess. I guess it's fine.
Possibly.
So, and this is also a voluntary process because remember, you have to be the one to commit the heinous act in order to become a skinwalker or a shapeshifter, constituting all of your own actions, which by definition makes it not a curse. Not a curse. I will repeat, it is a voluntary action done by that person.
Okay.
I don't see it as a curse. You guys let me know if you disagree, but I don't see it as a curse.
Either. No, I wouldn't say it. That's like a curse to me.
Right, because if
it's voluntary, I feel like curse has to be inflicted on you.
Exactly. Same. Like, you have to be able to break it. And like, here's the thing. I've never found anything that could break a skinwalker curse or a skinwalker thing. Like, it appears that if you want to be a skinwalker, you better be damn sure because you're in it for the rest of your life. But yeah, I thought that was really super interesting as well, that it's an entirely voluntary process, because when we get into talk about Skinwalker Ranch, that's when it becomes very important that this is a voluntary process and that these shapeshifters and skinwalkers, they are aware of their own actions. So it's much different than like the curse of the werewolf where, they get bitten, they turn into this thing against their will, and they don't get to choose when they shapeshift. It's already laid out for them. With the skinwalkers, everything is pretty much the opposite. You do all of your actions voluntarily. You're aware of what you're doing, and you get to choose what and when you shift.
So yeah, I mean, that sounds, that doesn't really sound like a curse to me at all.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. So skinwalkers, along with being freaky, can read people's minds, control animals of the night, so like owls and other creatures of the night. They can call and conduct on the spirits of the dead, and they have to continue killing or they die.
Oof.
And it's very, very...
That's probably a curse aspect of it, I would say.
Probably, yeah. Like you have to keep doing it. Kind of like
I think that's like forcibly, like you've passed like the voluntary phase of it.
Now it's like, it's kind of like the universe is like, I don't care if you like it or not. You chose to be this, so either be it or die. I mean, that's a real talk about it, or that's a real be about it, don't talk about it kind of shit.
True.
Right here. I mean, think about it. But skinwalkers are very, very, very hard to get rid of. So, in order to rid your property of a skinwalker, you will need a very powerful shaman. And this shaman needs to be able to perform spells that will make the skinwalker turn on itself. I still am not 100% sure how you would do that, but I'm also not a shaman. So you have to make it turn within itself. So maybe it's kind of like the guilt you use for where like it had to commit this heinous act. Like you ask it to, or not ask it, but you make it be accountable for its own heinous actions, and it turns its rage within itself.
Yeah, I can see that.
Deep psychoanalyzation there. Come here, Mr. Skinwalker. I'm going to get you into my therapy session. Come here. We need to find out what's wrong with you. But we live in the good old US of A. So guess what we found out?
What's that?
You can shoot it.
You can shoot it.
You can shoot it. But
that'll stop a skinwalker?
It'll stop a skinwalker. But it has to be, the bullets have to be dipped in white ash, and the white must go through the neck or the head. Now, I have a theory on why it's the white ash. So white as in good or holy, and then ash to represent the dead. So you're kind of bringing about the old good spirits to basically penetrate this evil thing and make it go bye-bye. So that's my theory on that. If I'm totally wrong, though, let me know, guys. I'm totally okay with that. But that is pretty much the origins of the Skinwalker, how it came to be, and what we are dealing with and what we're going to talk about. It is time.
It's the big one.
It is time. Do you know what the other name for the Skinwalker Ranch is? The original name for the Skinwalker Ranch?
I do not.
The Sherman Ranch.
Sherman Ranch, okay.
The Sherman Ranch, yes. So it was, so it actually borders the Uintah and Ouray Indian Reservation. I'm very sorry that I mispronounced that. I'm not going to even say if. And this is located in Utah. And it also became home to the Ute tribe in Utah. So a little bit of information about the Utes. The Utes actually had enslaved some of the Navajo people. And remember, the Navajo have the Skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't fucking around. So and the Utes did this after joining up with the U.S. troops during the time of the Civil War. So these enslaved Navajo cursed the Utes with the Skinwalkers so that when they passed, quote unquote, they didn't actually pass. They actually became Skinwalkers. And they either killed or
so that
died.
Was definitely a curse. In that
instance, it was. Absolutely. But in the traditional sense of how you normally become a skinwalker, it's pretty voluntary. So we now fast forward to the 1990s. Navajos had been enslaved by the Utes. The Utes have now been inflicted with the skinwalker curse. So in 1994, the nearly 500-acre ranch located in Ballard, Utah, has become a super hotbed for literally anything weird that can happen on this great green earth. So
now, isn't there another ranch out there around Skinwalker? It's like a similar thing. Like it's out west. I think there's another ranch there that has a bunch of weird shit happening on it.
Probably. I'm unaware of it at this current time.
Yeah, I can't.
It could have also been broken up too.
I remember. I think hearing like Wendigoon talking about like another ranch out there that has similar shit as Skinwalker going on.
Ooh,
I'll have to look into that more.
Yes,
it might be interesting.
I want to know. That would be cool. So the couple that moved into the ranch, and they actually moved into the ranch on a really sweet dream. They wanted to own their own cattle farm. What a humble dream.
Yeah.
This little family of four, Terry and Gwen Sherman and their two little babies, they moved to the Sherman Ranch, that 500-acre ranch in Ballard, Utah. And in this area, it had already been of important note that in this area, around this area, next to the ranch, everywhere, there was already strange occurrences being reported by the locals and even the press The local press even had reported on the strange activities happening in this area, and that was back in the 1970s. So the Sherman moved in 94. There were stories coming out in the early 70s about the ranch, the then Ute off-site of Ute reservation.
Okay.
So shortly after moving on to the new cattle ranch, Terry, Gwen, and their 2 children were outside when a wolf, a full-fledged freaking wolf, walked right onto their property. And this was in broad daylight with everybody around, including the cattle. And at first, Gwen Sherman, Mother Sherman, she instructed the children to stay back away from the wolf. And Terry, who was the closest person to the wolf at the time, seemed to be really okay with the fact that the wolf was just there. I mean, it wasn't like being aggressive or, like snarling or, doing like the wolf prancy thing where it's like scoping you out.
Yeah, but still, it's a wolf.
It's
though,
a fucking wolf. Yeah. If I saw a wolf walk up on my, where's the gun?
Yeah.
I don't care if I don't need to use it. The fact that I have it will make me feel better. Oh my GOPs. Well, Gwen, I mean, Terry was fine with it. He's like, it's fine. It's just hanging out. This is his habitat. Which, I mean, I can respect, but I mean, it's a fucking wolf still.
Yeah.
And you have a cattle farm, sir. Did you forget about your cattle? But so Terry thought it was fine. Gwen eventually felt comfortable enough to not only allow her children near this wolf, but they also got to pet the wolf as well. And I can't even get into that because I'm just like, what possesses you? The Skinwalker. Okay, now we have our answers. Okay. But when they were up close to the wolf, they did note that the wolf had like a very putrid smell. Like it smelled like death, like something was rotting on the inside. And the eyes were a very yellowish amber color as well. But there's also conflicting reports in there that says the eyes were a reddish color. So I don't know. It kind of that one's up in the air on what color the eyes were. But on every story that I do find, there is a putrid smell.
Okay.
So Wolfie needs a bath. Gwen's gonna take it up in and give it a bath. Next thing we fucking know, like Mr. Wolfie's coming to live with the Shermans. Okay, feel that damn comfortable around it. Jeez. And I really like big animals too, but I'm like, that's a wolf. No,
yeah, exactly.
No,
yeah, it's a wild animal.
It's a wild animal. No,
thank you.
It can live in its own little habitat over there, away from me. No, thank you. No defensive biological weapons here. Sorry. So everyone's having a great old time with, Mr. Wolfie over here until Mr. Wolfie realized that he told Mrs. Wolfie that he would bring something home for dinner. And then the wolf proceeded to grab a small calf by the calf's head with its teeth and tried to pull the calf through the fence.
Jeez.
Yeah. Remember when I said, remember, it's a fucking wolf?
Right.
And you need to remember your cattle, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally sitting on a damn, like, McDouble right there. Right there. So, at this point, the wolf is very aggressively trying to get at this calf, trying to pull it through the fence. The calf is, fighting, trying to get away. Obviously can't because its head is inside its mouth. And Gwen and the children would make their way where the mauling was taking place far, far away. So Gwen and the children are now safe. Terry then proceeds to grab his firearm and shoot the wolf repeatedly until it let the calf go. The calf would unfortunately die while the wolf was being, however, while the wolf was being shot multiple times, regardless of that being shot, the wolf would run into the nearby woods.
Jesus.
And I mean, I would love to know what kind of gun it was too, because it's like, I wonder if it was like a really big one or like a little one. I would like to think it was a really big one.
I would think it's like a shotgun.
I would think so too.
Like a handgun.
I feel like it was
a farmer. You're not carrying like a huge gun around. So
yeah,
shotgun or a small like revolver probably.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I've never shot an animal before. I won't lie, But I would think,
Me neither.
I mean, you would think though, shooting at it multiple times at close range, like it would have some sort of an impact. But I mean, apparently this wolf was feeling fine enough to run off into the woods without dinner. And he's going to have to explain that to his missus. So, and I mean, and again, as it left this putrid, rotting smell behind it. So that's weird. So, but that would be only one of the first of many strange occurrences to happen at the Sherman Ranch. Terry would actually repeatedly find his cattle mutilated. They would be missing skin. They were burned. Organs were removed with surgical precision. And the thing about the organs being removed and the skin being, removed and whatnot is it never left a blood trail. There was never any sort of blood trail, which is really strange because if you're you would think if you're removing organs, or making like these deep cuts into the skin, like it's going to be messy, but there's never a blood trail.
That's kind of, indicative of cattle mutilations with UFOs and stuff like that. How it's got the precision cuts.
Oh yes.
No blood. Very clean, precise extractions.
Oh yes.
So it's very, very similar. Which I know that's a big thing is people kind of associate Skinwalker Ranch with possible like UFO gateways and all that.
Oh, it's absolutely a hotbed of UFO activity. It's freaking crazy. Like there was one researcher that went out there and I forget who it was, but there was one who went out there and like his first 20 or 30 minutes out there, he like him and the crew started seeing things flying around in the sky. They did not have to wait long whatsoever. And I wish I could remember who it was. So, but no other animal could have made those marks, or could have, done that kind of damage. Because these things weren't chewed on, they weren't, scratched, they weren't gouged. It was done with surgical precision. The Shermans also noted that there were circles of flattened grass, strange markings in the soil, and even a strange, strong chemical smell that would hang in the air. So, lots of calls to UFO activity. So I know we're getting off topic here, but I can't let go of a good UFO story.
Oh, right,
so,
right.
And they also saw Bigfoot. They may have seen Bigfoot out there, Ty.
Yeah, Bigfoot's also been it's a hotbed out there in Skinwalker Ranch. People see Bigfoot or Bigfoot-like creatures a lot.
This one, they said it was a tall, standing on two legs that was heavily muscled in the breast area and had curly red hair with a bushy tail. I'm like, did you guys see me? Did you what? That's mean. At least they call me tall. But that one was weird to me because a lot of the time I don't hear Bigfoot described as a redhead. I hear giants described as redheads.
Bigfoot I hear a lot of Bigfoot stuff.
Really?
As redhead or reddish brown. That's a common color. Gray and black, those are colors. But yeah, the reddish brown, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
As being a descriptor for Bigfoot.
I must be missing the reddish, or I'm associating red too much with giants and I need to come off of it a little bit. One of the two.
Maybe.
Because I always think of Bigfoot, and maybe it's also that I think of Bigfoot as being a brown, ashy, but he also could just be dirty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Bigfoot needs a bath too. Gwen! Bigfoot needs a bath. Okay, so back to the Shermans. So the Shermans would GTFO only 2 years after purchasing the ranch. After many, many, many cattle deaths and strange occurrences that would impact every single member of the Sherman family, it was time to leave.
Time to get out.
It was time to go. It was time to leave. It was time to go. They couldn't do it. So in 1996, Robert Bigelow would then purchase all 512 acres for only $200,000, and I really need those rates to come back. And he sold it for $4.5 million.
Jeez.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's a good investment.
So in 1996, 512 acres was probably worth way fucking more than that. But the fact that the Shermans just wanted to get out, he was probably here's $200,000. You want out? Here, take it. And then he was in 2004 is when he let go of it. and sold it to $4.5 million. But I have a little bit of a theory on why he upcharged it so much, which we're going to get into in a little bit. Because what Robert Bigelow did was actually really super interesting. Because he was not known for being a big conspirator or a big like adventurer, you know, even like a big cryptid guy. Like he wasn't known for any of that. However, what he did do was he created the National Institute of Discovery of Science, or NIDS, which is literally described as being, quote, Science Institute engaged in research of aerial phenomena, animal mutilations, and other related amulous phenomena.
Amalgamous.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Amalgamous. But there's no G.
I don't know. I'd have to see it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm not going to spell it. We're going to go with
anomalous, probably.
Anomalous. Yeah. Anomalous phenomenon.
Yeah.
End quote. So they would go on to find lights in the sky. These yellow-eyed animals that could not be ID'd as anything else. They put another cow on the property, which was mutilated, which at that point, that's animal abuse. You know it's going to get hurt.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, yep. Seems like it's definitely going to happen.
Yes. And then an Army intelligence officer would actually go on to state that a precognitive sentient intelligence was at work. And this was after the NIDS cameras and other equipment would have become unplugged, turned off, and they just weren't damaged. They just looked tampered with. Now, I have a theory. Because I know everyone is going to think, well, aliens.
Yep.
Yes.
That would be the first thing on mind, I imagine.
However, if we have modern day skinwalkers, wouldn't they know how to unplug something?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's kind of what my running theory is. It's either the aliens or it's some modern day skinwalkers or evolved skinwalkers who are still there and are just like, fuck that, and just unplugging shit. Like, no, I don't want seen. Go away. See you later. Now we're going to talk about the government. Yay! So in 2004, Big Daddy Government would unfortunately tell Mr. Bigelow that he and the rest of the NIDS team were no longer allowed to report on any strange phenomena happening at the Sherman Ranch because they were an official research facility.
Whoa. That's crazy. That was like an official thing.
That was an official thing. They were no longer allowed to do it. NIDS was shut down. All of it was gone. It was all unsanctioned, and they were, just doing all the big, big bad. So in 2004, Mr. Bigelow would sell Skinwalker Ranch for a whopping $4.5 million to a gentleman.
Hell of a profit.
That's fucking right. I'd go and build a house right next to Skinwalker Ranch. Be like, yeah, you bought it from me, but I ain't leaving. So I don't know the official, I do know it. I could loosely translate it. But anyway, basically representatives from the Hutchings Museum Institute located in Lee, Utah is basically who owns Skinwalker Ranch now.
Okay.
Through a bunch of cover-ups. Basically, it's owned by a specific person, held in a trust by a real estate firm that represents and handles the property for the Hutchings Museum.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and here's the shit part about it is the brokerage company, on behalf of the Hutchings Museum, they applied and got it passed in 2020 that any merchandise, movie, television show, even a mug, any royalties that have any association to do with Skinwalker Ranch, that brokerage company gets a percentage.
Damn, that's smart of them.
Yeah, so today, if you make a movie about Skinwalker Ranch, if we monetize this episode, I'm going to bat with you. No, thank you.
I doubt they'd get anything off that.
No, they wouldn't. They didn't.
Yeah, no. There's plenty of bigger podcasts.
There's bigger fish to fry on that one.
I'm sure they aren't getting anything from it, so.
No, but, it's just kind of like that passed in 2020. And then I think it was announced in 2022 that the Hutchings Museum was actually doing an expansion project that is going to be debuted in 2026, which would probably explain to me why they would want all of those royalties, because Skinwalker Ranch is a really hot commodity and it can sell a lot of merch too. So it's very interesting. Plus the museum director of the Hutchings Museum, I have not confirmed it, but she has ties to the Smithsonian.
Oh, wow.
And we all know how I feel about the Smithsonian. I don't like it. They're hiding the giants. They're hiding the giants. I'm telling you, they're hiding them. And she knows what she's doing because she's associated with the Smithsonian. So she's coming back and she's doing the same thing with the Skinwalkers. And she's like, no, we've got to hide them. The public can't know, but yes, we will now. We will now. Anyway, I don't know where I was at. Okay, yeah, in 2014. Smithsonian. I can't go down another tangent about the Smithsonian. I don't like it. I want to go, but just to be a little shit and be like, where are the giant bones? And then when they go, well, the elephants, no, ma'am. I asked for the giant bones, not the elephant bones. I know what I'm talking about. So, but we're going to fast forward into 2014 when a photo emerged that would shock the internet. Everyone knows this photo. It is the photo of the creepy looking thing on all fours with the really, really long back popping out from the side of the road.
You know what's disgusting? Is when that came out, I was probably like, when did that come out?
2014.
Yeah, so I'd been 24. I knew immediately what that was from.
Did you really?
Oh, immediately.
What's it from?
Extro 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
You're just like, this ain't real. This
I
ain't
knew exactly
real.
what that was from.
So it's
immediately. I knew exactly what it was from.
You were just.
I've watched so many shitty movies that I came across that thing. It always creeped me out when I seen it in the movie. I knew exactly what it was.
Did you go along with it, or did you tell all your friends like, nah, this
I
ain't
told all my
it?
friends like, it's not real, because everyone's like, oh, it's so real. I'm like, it's not. But, okay.
I wanted it to be real for so long, and then I was like, it's not real.
Yeah.
But regardless of questioning whether it was real or not, it did not stop the internet from sharing it thousands upon thousands of times
even still today.
Oh my gosh, you still see it today.
I see it. Yeah, absolutely. Still see it today. Still people share it on TikTok and stuff. I mean, I still see it constantly.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones that you kind of have to watch out for because people will go in and like try to remaster it and be like, "No, dude, it's real." It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. They can't all be real.
No, they can't.
You got to weed out the fakes to find the real gems.
You really, really, really do. I mean, there have been people who have like talked about seeing skinwalkers, which we'll get into in a moment here, but there's like no image of a supposed skinwalker that cannot be debunked.
Right.
None.
Right.
And that's what makes me think that the skinwalker is definitely more of a spirit.
There's a couple interesting videos I've seen, security videos and stuff of like supposed skinwalkers. But people have also like I've seen like people argue with them. Like people think there's like bears on their hind legs and things like that. Or I guess there's like even like some dogs out west will go on their hind legs for a good period of time. I guess for some reason, just shit like that. I don't know. I've seen like some pretty creepy videos, but you kind of weed through them. I don't know.
They're weird. Paranormal Junkie always has the best Skinwalker videos. He's super cool. But even then, I'm questioning like Paranormal Junkie. I'm not questioning you. I'm not questioning you, Paranormal Junkie, Mr. Junkie. I'm not questioning you. What I'm saying is I'm trying to find the truth.
Yep.
Because Skinwalkers is something that like I would not be shocked if they are real and like they are just like a spirit that lives out there. I mean, because the Navajo people, they are still finely in tune with the earth and with, the abundance that the earth brings us. Because everyone thinks like it's all out in the spirit world. And yes, a good portion of it is out in the spirit world. But why would a god or, a higher being give us all of these wonderful things that are around us and not expect us to value the natural beauty of the earth and look for the power and the resources within that?
Yeah.
Shaman Bailey.
Yeah, I was trying. You're waxing poetic over there.
Just love it. Just love it. So there was also a translucent figure that was seen in, I believe this one was in 2020, but it was seen in Canada. And there is a video to it. You really kind of have to watch it in order to see it, but you can see something moving. It claims to be a skinwalker. To me, it honestly looks like more of a Sasquatch because it is that more bulky, muscular upper torso, and it is walking on two legs. But just the way that it's moving, I'm like that. It doesn't scream skinwalker to me, but it's definitely something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
It's interesting. I'll have to check that out.
I'll send it to you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, definitely send that to me.
Absolutely. See if we can get permission from the. Because I think I'll have to look at it.
It's on the internet. I'll share it anyway. So
okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you're mad, we're sorry. Bailey's sorry anyway.
Yeah.
So there's also another theory that the Skinwalker may have just been a bedtime story.
Okay. Yeah, of course they'll have that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. To keep Navajo children in line, but to also remind parents to keep a watchful eye on their children. So one story goes that parents would leave their oldest child to watch after the baby of the family. The oldest sibling would feed and play with the baby and then lay it down for a nap. And then while the children were alone, including the baby, in the house still while the parents were still out, a creature, a skinwalker, would break into the home, scaring both the oldest child and the baby. In a rush of fear, the oldest child would run into their bedroom and hide from the creature, but would forget the baby. The baby is still out there with this creature, and the oldest child is now too afraid to come out and save its baby sibling from this creature. So the oldest child wouldn't come out of their room until the parents would return. And upon the return, the father would scream after seeing his headless baby and a trail of blood leading out of the door.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yes. So the father then began angrily and ragingly questioning the oldest child. Why did this happen? Why were you not watching the baby? Who did this? How could this have happened? All of this nonsense. All of the things. So the oldest child would then go on to say that they were too afraid to leave the room once they were in there. And the father would go and they would follow the blood trail to another house located inside the village. And he would then begin to question the older couple that lived in the home where the blood trail led. And of course, the couple is looking at him going, I don't know what's going on. Is there any way we can help? What happened to your baby? What do we do? And then all of a sudden, the couple's son would walk out into the view of the father covered in blood.
Jesus.
The father, without asking any question, would then kill the couple's son in a rage.
Jesus Christ.
So the story may have been warning children to watch after their siblings and abide by their parents, and may have warned parents as well to watch closely after their children. So
I guess it's one way to do it, I guess.
I don't know what the Skinwalker is. Personally, if I really had to put money on it, I would definitely say the Skinwalker is a spirit. They definitely have a lot going on. But it's just, the Skinwalker is really one of those things that it's kind of like a haunted house, honestly, because like you hear a lot of it in like this one area, but you don't hear a whole lot of it outside of
it's
Utah.
mainly like a Western thing, right? Like yeah.
But Wendigos are the same way too. Wendigos you mainly hear about in really forested, heavy winter areas like northern Canada. You hear about those too. And I almost wonder if it's the terrain, if it's because of the curse that the Navajos laid upon the Utes.
Right.
Is it an animal that we haven't quite discovered yet? There's also a fungal infection, like a bacterial infection that deers can get as well, that will like pimple out and like blister and callus out their skin, callus more than blister, out their skin, which can make them look really deformed and can even expose bone at times, which a lot of the time people say like skinwalkers, like they'll show bone and things of that nature.
Right. That's kind of so. Is Wendigo and Skinwalker, are they like basically the same thing, or is because it's both deals with cannibalism, right?
It's cannibalism, yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of triggers a transformation. So I mean, is it kind of like a similar thing, Wendigos and Skinwalkers?
No, and I'll say no because in my very limited knowledge of Wendigos, It's another one of those that you have to be bitten by. Like something
Okay.
has to get inside you, like a saliva or something. Whereas with skinwalkers, well, I guess if you're cursed as a Wendigo, I don't know. Maybe it's situational. Like if someone just curses you with it. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. Because skinwalkers are more of like a summer creature, and Wendigos like they hibernate all of the warm months supposedly, and then come out during
Okay.
the winter, where it's
Okay.
like just very cold and desolate.
Hmm.
So yeah, I personally think it's a spirit that is there. I don't want to say the Navajo people put it there, but they definitely came up with it.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of influence over the story. I mean, 'cause it's the whole origin is rooted in their culture.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it's a really interesting cryptid. It's a really interesting monster to have. And I mean, even if it does end up just all being a bedtime story spawned from a bacteria riddled deer that someone saw way back then and had no idea what it was, good on
Yeah.
you. It scared the shit out of me. I'll be watching my kids a little closer. So, but what do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, the Skinwalkers have always been very interesting to me. It's one of those things I don't definitively say I believe or don't believe in. It's just super interesting, and I think the whole addition of the cannibalism and the curse aspect makes it really intriguing. But I mean, it's hard for me to say anytime I don't believe in these Native American legends because they're so deeply rooted and they've carried on for centuries. It's hard to say that something like that isn't real. Like it had to come from somewhere.
Oh yeah,
And they didn't have
absolutely.
TV or movies to pull from. So I mean, it's very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that like it's something that comes directly from our land. Like we're not pulling it like witches from Romania or banshees and even Igors out because like we in the city, um, and we want to
I'm
move
from
out.
Southern Ohio.
We're all yeah, and I'm like. I don't know. Like, did those stories weird you out when you lived out in the country? Because like
Oh,
we're
absolutely. I talk about it all the time. I was afraid to like go in.
go
I
in
was
your
afraid to
woods.
play it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was afraid to go to the woods like that.
I'm
And yeah, that
scared.
stuff scared the hell out of me. Being in the woods, seclusion, that all creeped me out when I was a kid.
And maybe it's a little bit of that too, is like being out in the woods and being secluded and like thinking you see or hear something and just having that like innate fear,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to know what
Uh,
everyone else thinks of skinwalkers.
yeah, for real. It'd be very interesting to hear what people think. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just one of those things. It's a Native American legend. It's been around for centuries. Just really hard to say it isn't real, but I don't know.
I
It's
definitely,
interesting.
I definitely think it could be a spirit like haunting that ranch,
Yes.
though.
Yes.
Absolutely, or at least like its energy influence is there. That's for sure. Something is out there on Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch, I definitely think we need to do a deeper dive into here at some point. Like that's a really interesting topic we haven't touched on
It was
too much yet.
it was really hard not to like keep going down that rabbit hole because I was like, wait, I'm not doing the ranch. I'm doing the skinwalkers. And even then we talked about it a little bit more than what I thought we were going to.
Yeah, it's
And
hard not to.
it's really hard not to
It's a
because
super interesting topic.
well, that's how people know the skinwalker. Like people like, they come to know, well, Skinwalker Ranch. What is a skinwalker? Because I guarantee you cannot Google what is a skinwalker without getting Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
At least in one.
No, I guarantee it.
So they actually boarded off, like they blocked off all the entrances to Skinwalker Ranch because, the museum owns it. And so people like can't go up there and visit. And they even put barbed fucking wire up so you can't
Jesus
climb over
Christ.
top of it. I'm like, joke's on you, boo boo. Those aliens fly. Like, I get very angry when big corporations like that go in and start owning shit because then I'm like, what you doing over there?
Yeah. What are you hiding?
What you doing? Why is it not open to
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
public? Why is it boarded off? They say it's because they did put out a statement regarding it, and they say it's actually to preserve the natural earthworks of Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
I'm like, that's bullshit.
Is there earthworks on there? I didn't think there were. Well,
There
maybe
is crop circles.
Crop circles. Yeah. I mean, is there like not pyramids, but mounds or
No.
anything there? I mean,
No. Zero.
interesting. But you wonder, it'd be interesting if that ever comes up in like the disclosure stuff that's happening now with, all the UFO files and stuff coming out. It'd be
I think it's a
interesting if anyone ever touches, if anything comes about Skinwalker.
I think they're a distraction. I think something else is going on. I think they're just trying to like pull the wool over. Like, here, we'll dangle a carrot in front of you. That way you can't see the bag. No. Like, I'm glad they're coming out about it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm really glad for the confirmation. But unseal the goddamn files and take all the blocks off, and I'll be happy.
Absolutely.
So, but that's what I have on Skinwalkers, on unearthing this legend.
Excellent.
We could definitely go in and do more, guys.
I think we're going to have to do Skinwalker Ranch.
I think we are
soon.
too.
That's for sure.
I think we
have
too.
to gear it up for next year.
Yes.
But yeah, this was file 030, and instead of waiting 2 weeks, you guys will be able to join us next week but it's not going to be on Tuesday. We're going to be releasing a Black Friday episode. Next Friday, not this coming Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, we're going to drop a little Black Friday special. Just something for you guys to listen to while you're out doing your shopping.
Yes.
And you're running around, catching the deals, and recovering from Thanksgiving. You can tune in and listen to us talk. Last year, we did Men in Black encounters, and this year, we're going to follow it up with more Men in Black encounters, aptly so for Black Friday. So really excited for that. Men in Black encounters was our first ever encounters we did.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool to return back to that topic and see what other creepy encounters we can come up with that involve those mysterious Men in Black.
The hard part's going to be choosing which ones to do, because there's so many.
Yeah, there are so many of them. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what we come up with. Yeah, that'll be out next Friday instead of the regular Tuesday. So that's going to be really fun. But, and also on Thanksgiving Day, make sure you guys hop over on the Culttober Plus channel, because on Thanksgiving Day, we are dropping Addams Family Values.
Yes.
The sequel to Addams Family, which we did as our Culttober special, our Halloween special. So we're following up with our Thanksgiving special and take a look at the sequel to celebrate family values.
How could you not?
On Thanksgiving.
I mean,
yeah, it's perfect.
How could you not watch both of them together? It's a package deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to watch one and two. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out a way I can get everyone to watch 3, the third one. Because I've never seen the third one.
I haven't either. I have heard less impressive things about it. However, for the sake of continuity, I will watch it.
Yeah, it's got Tim Curry in it, so it can only be so bad.
Right.
If it has Tim Curry in it, so.
Tim Curry. Oh, I love him.
Yeah. It can't be too god-awful of Tim Curry. You're still getting Tim Curry.
We were watching Criminal Minds, and he was in a 2-parter episode on Criminal Minds, and I was just like, because I'm used to picturing Tim Curry as a villain, but like this time he was like, he looked like himself, and I was like, Papa Tim, no, evil Papa Tim. Anyway, my little side note about Tim Curry.
But yeah, guys, check that. Make sure you check that out next Thursday, Culttober Plus, Addams Family Values, and next Friday, just here for a special Black Friday episode for everybody to listen to. But yeah, we talked about Skinwalkers, touched on Skinwalkers Ranch, and I guarantee we're going to be hitting that topic again because it's something it's something I'm surprised we haven't done a full episode on yet. Make sure you guys follow us at Cult Talk Net across the board: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, all the stuff, all the social medias at Cult Talk Net. Super easy, super simple. At Cult Talk Net, you'll find us if you go to a social media platform and search that. It's there, I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Make sure you guys check out Cult of Lore every first and third Thursday of the month. Cult of Campbell on Mondays. Cult Talk Conspiracy right here every other Tuesday. And keep an eye on that Culttober Plus channel because we'll be dropping a lot of goodies, especially here in the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
We love holiday content. So Culttober Plus is going to be getting a healthy dose of content there. So if you guys haven't, check out Culttober Plus, our new podcast feed, available everywhere you find your favorite podcast. That's Culttober Plus. But I think that does it for us, Bailey, here on our first episode back from Culttober. Our first episode post-Culttober.
Post-Culttober. I can't wait until next year.
It's coming sooner rather than later.
It comes a lot sooner for us than it does for everyone else.
Yeah, it's a year-long project. But,
I mean, hey, it's freaking awesome. And this Culttober was a blast. And they can...
Gigantic.
It was awesome. And they can still listen to all the Culttober episodes on Culttober Plus, right?
Cultober Plus, yeah. Go to Cultober Plus. All the episodes are there. They're all going to be on youtube.com. So it's Cult Talk Net. Yeah, everything's there. So make sure you guys check out Cultober Plus and hear what Always doing through October. Yes. It was a lot of shit.
It was.
I'm sure you missed something. So check it out. There's a lot there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Bailey, I think that does it. Next episode, make sure you guys remember it's going to be next Friday instead of Tuesday. Next Friday, Black Friday. Join us here for your post-Thanksgiving activities. I've been Ty.
I've been Bailey.
And until next time, question everything.